Embrace the washed up meathead.
Yeah, it needs to go back to what I did as a kid in my basement.
There's another aspect to where your identity becomes too associated with your strength physically. And then as you get older, as you move away from the sport, as you get injured, then that your identity starts to just get pounded. Mm-hmm. Now, you were dealing with this before that, right? But this is a bridge you're crossing now, where your identity is going to need to shift, you know, and pivot. Not so much as some of the others that I've seen, to where it's all of that. Then they can't deal with the fact that, holy crap, I can only bench, 300 pounds, where I used to bench,
When I first came into it, I tried to keep aware of that. Like, I try to always remind myself to enjoy this now, because when you're 50, you're not going to be able to stay 385 pounds, and like there's going to be you only have so long to get strong, and at some point it's going to turn into either trying to maintain it as long as you can, or just getting healthy and going, okay, I had my time.
I get that, but see what happens in the sport
though
is your confirmation bias is going to click in, because you say, well, you really shouldn't be, you can't do this when you're 50, but then you're like, no, wait a minute. He's doing
Masters.
He's doing it. And so your confirmation bias starts looking at the outlier that a lot of times you forget didn't even start until they were 35 or 40.
Right.
So that becomes that factor in there. But that separation.
Well, even like we were talking last night, I kind of realized over the past couple weeks that, like, wait a minute, like I thought I was kind of losing weight and I thought I was getting healthier, and I was kind of fooling myself. And I kept falling back into, well, wait a minute, I could go do this meet, or wait a minute, I could go get this record. Instead of just going, like, you had your time. Like, why do you even want to do that? And I always look back, like, two of the big ones for me for some reason were Odie Wilson and Anthony Clark. And
you're validating what the fuck I just said.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm telling you, I argue with the shit. Like, I have these conversations in my head, and I'm like, I argue with myself, where it's like, dude, why do I keep going back into this, but like Anthony Clark was one that was like, dude, man, that dude was so smart, and he loved helping kids, and like he could still be around coaching people with all the knowledge he had. Like, we lost a great lifter and a great person. So it's like I need to keep reminding myself of that, because I have that natural tendency, like you said, to go, even though I'm aware of it and I was aware of it from the beginning. Just because you're aware of it doesn't mean you're completely fighting it, or ignoring it.
Like I told you last night, you lean into it. You find ways to lean into it that still accomplish what you're really looking for.
Right.
Because what you're really looking for isn't the 1,200 pound squat. I think it's just that straining. It's that doing something that you didn't think that you could do and pushing through that. It's just reframing what that is, and then it doesn't have to go. It's still there. It's just reframed and leaned into, instead of this battle of this compared to this. Yeah. Where there's alternatives, and
it's almost like it needs to go back to
embrace the washed up meathead.
Yeah. It needs to go back to what I did in as a kid in my basement. Yeah. Like, I've never squatted this. Holy shit, I'm going to try to squat this. And just that push, and that, like, how far, what can I lift today kind of thing. And not worrying about everybody else, but just getting back to the roots of why I loved lifting to begin with. And not worrying about all the other shit.
The further that, because the sport, coming from the sport was hard, just to watch the sport for probably 5 or 10 years, after I left the sport, because of that. Now that it's separated so far, and I found how to reframe and all the other stuff, now I can look at the sport and be a fan of the sport. It's like, holy fuck, you did what? Yeah. That's awesome. Where before it was kind of like, that's awesome. Fuck, what? Then it's like, shit. You're trying to compare. What if I was lifting today and I didn't have to go and da 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 da? Yeah. And that's just a false narrative. That's just stupid. Then you start looking at what people are doing today, like, holy fuck. The sport has, I don't care what anybody says, the sport's fucking advanced. There's a bigger pool feeding into it, so there's a lot of crazy ass things going on, in the sport on all levels, single ply, multiply, all that. There's just crazy. If you look at the people and the lifters, You know, you look at the politics and the federations, you're going to get frustrated. So just don't.
Yeah.
You know, that's a huge thing with that.
I still go back to, even with my clients now, they'll be like, well, I could take this. I go, dude, don't look for records in shitty federations. I'm like, what is it, open powerlifting now? I'm like, go there, find the top 100, start working your way up the list.
You know,
like, don't worry about all that other crap.
I think that I do because we talked about this last night too. I think the listing does help because a lot of people will get caught up into that's good for them. Like, I hit a 20-pound PR, and I mean, if I'm working with them, it's like, yeah, well, your technique's fucking horrible. If we fix that, that's 50 pounds. If you do, like, you could be squatting 100 pounds.
Yeah.
More. And if you're around people that actually didn't think that 315 was a big squat, you know, like a 500 or 600 would be more of a realistic squat, that perception changes. So when they start looking at the list, and it's weird the way it is because it's not all time, so you got to look at reps or however it is, and you're like, holy crap, I'm like 865. Okay, what do you need to do to be in the top 500?
Yeah.
You know, then you just start kind of climbing
just
up
gradually
there.
working up.
Yes.
I have, it's starting to train more people now, and I train a variety of people, and especially women. Like, I've always, like, I think I'm like you. I look at a lift, and I if I don't tell you nothing, then it's fine. Don't worry about it. Like, I'm going to tell you what we need to fix because I'm looking at you and going, what could you squat right now with your strength? Let's get there, and then let's really start building strength. And I'm so much nicer than I used to be when it comes to coaching, to the point where if I'm in the gym, like, some of my old partners will go up to the people I'm coaching, they're like, you're so lucky. Chad's so nice now. And that client's like, what? He's nice now? What was he like before? But I've had to try, and with some of my clients, figuring out who their personalities and stuff, and it's like, I got to give positive feedback to some people. And that's like something that's taking me a while to learn because I'm so used to going, if I don't say nothing, and that's on my team, that's the way we all coached it. Don't tell me what's right. I need to know what's wrong so I can fix it. And it's like, that seems to be a different mentality. Like, there's only so many people with that mentality.
I mean, there's some, it goes both ways. You know, there's some that need that. I mean, trust me, I will find everything wrong. Yeah. You know, so if I look at a lift and like 98% of it's right, and I see one little thing, it's going to be like, this is fucked up. Yeah. You know, but by the time, hopefully, if I'm doing my job right with the people that I'm helping, they're going to know going into it, that's what they're going to expect. You know, so but once that initial shock, you know, wears off, then it is, you know, that's better. It's better. But it's a breakdown process because it's what you see. You know, you're not looking for the good things. Yeah. I'm not. You know, I'm looking for
that's what I'm saying. I don't look to go, hey, this is right, this is good, this is good. Yeah. I'm looking to go, what can we fix?
Yes. And sometimes
I like try to tell my clients, I go, listen, if I find things wrong, that's good. Yeah. If you come in here and you squat 400 pounds and I can't fix anything, that's not all that great. That means we just got to get stronger. But
yeah, that's hard. Yeah. That's the hardest thing to do.
Yeah. If you come in and there's all kinds of shit wrong, I'm like, dude, we got shit to fix, man. This is great.
This is easy.
Yeah.